Hello, you guys. I just wanted to jump on here. I am out in the desert. And it is so nice to get out of the noise of LA. You guys know me. Once a desert girl, always a desert girl. So it's just like something happens when I'm just out here and just enjoying the stillness. And someone told me actually the other day that the reason why I sleep better out here is because of the lack of Wi-Fi. So there's just less people out here, less of a digital footprint. So it really is just sacred protected land with not so many frequencies flying around. So if you guys have not ever spent time out in the desert, it doesn't have to be Joshua Tree. It could be in Arizona, Sedona, Mexico. There's parts of, New Mexico, actual Mexico. Lots of deserts that you can go and visit. But it's quite the metaphor. It is quite the metaphor for the season that I am in. And I mean, typically my brain goes to like very biblical stories just because that's what I was trained to do. I was like, grew up in the church, so it's like, and the Lord took them out and took them into the desert, and they walked for 40 days or whatever. So, but it is a filter that I run things through, and it is beautiful stories that I really reflect on, and I am really being stripped down in a way like never before. And I've had seasons where, I've experienced, the stripping away of certain things. But this one is definitely quite humbling, I'll be honest. I'll be very honest with you guys. This one is, whoo, it is no joke. So it's really, really taken radical self-acceptance. So that's what I titled this video, because I just want to encourage all of you that are going through maybe a challenging time. So the dance that I've kind of been delicately learning the new choreography to, in a way that I haven't had to really dance before, is this idea of being gentle with myself and knowing that I'm in a major healing phase and still going through quite, a challenging season, while also learning to just really take action. So I think a lot of times what's easy to do is just kind of like cower and just like wallow, whatever you want to call it, and get sucked into this, into the social media game, and then also could be through just watching Netflix or not really showing up for yourself and showing up for the day. And so what I've really been learning to do is to have radical self-acceptance in multiple ways. So I need to just take radical responsibility that I am going through a fucking divorce. That is not like an easy thing. That is really, really, really difficult to be living with someone all the time and then just poof, they're gone. And also, of course, what I was walking through was like, we had a very tumultuous relationship. So you guys already know the story, and if you don't know the story and you haven't seen it, then go and watch my last video on divorce. I kind of go into more detail, and you can kind of see, it's a long one, so you can like pop some popcorn and watch that. But thank you guys for all of your support. Those of you that have sent me messages, and the overwhelming response has just given me so much light in a time that is so precarious and quite daunting. I really appreciate that. But so I'm going through a divorce. I got stripped away of the job that I was in for the last 3 years, and also just taking radical responsibility of not being happy there and not really wanting to go down the same tunnel, of creating. I kind of like toy between like what I want to do. I'm like in such a new phase where I'm literally just like, where do I go from here? Do I continue to make beauty videos? Is that what really lights me up inside? Or do I want to go down a different tunnel in a different direction? That's a really challenging thing, I'll be honest with you guys, because it's something that I've known intimately, and I've done for so many years. I mean, my first job was at MAC Cosmetics when I was 18 years old as a freelance makeup artist. So I've been in the beauty space. I mean, I grew up doing makeup. You guys know my parents were magicians, so I grew up doing makeup and performance, and so this is what I do best. I do best by sharing, and I do best by engaging with you guys, and I love to adorn my vessel and get ready. But I really feel like the divine is taking me down a different road, and that I am heading down a new path towards the ascension process like I've never experienced. So you guys know me. I always am a deeply spiritual and very reverent person for God, the divine, Mother Earth. You could call it the universe. In Peru, where I just got back from, they were saying Pachamama, which is like our earth, Father God, Mother God, Spirit, Source. There's so many different names for God, and of course that's just like, or concepts of what God means. But I do believe that I am destined, and I'm just going to declare this here now. I do believe that I am destined to really be a spiritual guide. Not a teacher necessarily, but just a guide. Just someone who maybe can help speak things out and like point in the right direction, not because I've always been there before, but just from a deep place of intuition and this connected feeling that I have, that I've always had, and I'm always in a careful and prayerful state all throughout the day. So while my actions are very human and I am in this very human space, I really do know that I'm destined to be some sort of spiritual teacher. So the humility and the lack of, like, there's a humility with that, of course, and I almost even hesitate. The humanness inside of me tends to hesitate, because I'm like, who am I to like be saying that? But it's this deep inner knowing. It's this still small voice. And so that's what I like to call intuition, or the Holy Spirit, or there's just this little feeling in my gut. And so I revere, people like Gabby Bernstein and Rebecca Campbell and a lot of these spiritual teachers that I really look to, these women. But it's very challenging for me because I'm in a season of still being in process. So I'm not there yet. I'm not speaking on the stages yet. I don't have a New York Times bestseller. I'm quite literally smack dab in the abyss. If you haven't checked out the Heroine's Journey, please do. I really recommend it because I am in an abyss time where there's like a cyclical time in all hero and heroine's journeys where you hit a season where it's not all pretty. It's not lights, camera, action. I don't have a whole crew with me. I don't have the production budget like I used to. I don't have, all of the frills and all of the makeup. I'm really, really being stripped down. And then on top of it, I moved out from Los Angeles out to the desert. So 3 major shifts in my life. Like, wow, universe, fucking thank you. Jeez. It's like all at once. But I just want to encourage you guys, because the idea of radical self-acceptance, which again, like, is what I wanted to keep the topic on, is not easy. It's not easy because you want to kind of fast forward. I keep telling people that I want to like hit this like fast forward button on the remote control for life, like in that Adam Sandler movie called Click, and how he can like click to the next scene or whatever. I wish that I could just like press fast forward on this season and move through all of this much quicker, because it's less than desirable right now. There's like magic in every day, that's for sure, and I'm finding the magic all over the place and how people are really, really showing up, and I'm learning to lean in. But it's a season of growth nonetheless, and a season of transformation and refinement for sure. So the steps that I like to take to really be gentle with myself and just to really remind myself of who I am and where I'm heading, despite what the circumstances might look like, are number one, I wake up every morning and I just start to give thanks, give gratitude for where I'm at. And so, you know, I've really been like challenging myself to like the first thing that I do is just be like, thank you for breath. Thank you for life. Thank you for this home, this safe haven that I'm in. Thank you that all my bills are paid, even if it might be, you know, a challenging time for me financially. Thank you for my car that I'm able to get to and from. Thank you for my dog, who's this little spirit animal that shows up for me and offers me so much light and so much unconditional love. And I just start going down the list and I just start thanking God for all of the things that I do have. And I'll be honest, this is a challenge. This is a major challenge because, you know, when it's easy to just go, oh, but I don't have this and I don't have this. That's the tendency that my brain does. Oh my goodness, you guys, do I do that? But the last it's been really helpful to hang out with Mia. Honestly, Mia, if you guys have seen her in some of my last videos, she's a life coach and she has really helped me to acknowledge some of the stories that I've been telling myself that are just not true, frankly. She's like, Lynette, you're lying. You're doing a lot of lying to yourself and I'm tired of it. And those are stories and it's time to create your new story. Yes, we get it. You don't have the job at Ipsy anymore. And were you happy there anyway? Yes, we get it. You don't have the marriage anymore. And were you happy there anyway? Yes, we get it. You're not in Los Angeles anymore. You're still there all the time. Like, are you really happy? So it's just like these stories that we tell ourselves, right? And that we continually perpetuate. Well, every cell in your DNA is hearing that and being reminded of the lack and the scarcity and the fear and the shame and the guilt and the this, and the list goes on. So it's really important because abracadabra means we create as we speak, right? So it's really important to declare the things that are true. So giving thanks, gratitude is number one on my list to really, really show up in that vibration for the day rather than feeling, you know, anything less than that. And then the number two thing that I like to do recently, and I've honestly had to do it because otherwise I'm starting to have like mini breakdowns here and there. I'll be honest. I had like pushed down a lot of the emotion, and I'm sure you guys are very aware of that. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been just like, boop, 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 like, oh, it's fine. I'm here, I'm there. I'm on a road trip. I'm in Peru. I'm in Tulum. And now like the dust is really settling and it's hard. I've been having some hard days. So I've been being gentle with myself, letting myself really, really feel and really cry and breathe into my heart and allow myself to feel some things that I think I had been really, you know, not wanting to feel. So that's, you know, being gentle with yourself. But reminding yourself. So the second thing that I really like to do is look in the mirror and say positive affirmations to myself. And this is no new thing. This is not something that like I haven't told you guys before or that many other people haven't told you before. But those of you watching, yes, you that's watching right now behind this little screen, hi, I love you and you're beautiful. See? So I'm telling you this, but how many times do you say that to yourself? Do you honestly like look yourself right in the eye, in the mirror, and say, you are beautiful, you are capable, you are worthy of the highest good? When do you do that? Do you do that? How does it make you feel when you do? You know, what would it look like if you continue to do that, or if you start that practice maybe because you haven't before? It's important. And I have shared with this super transparently with you guys before that I had been claiming all of this love and light and positivity and all of these beautiful quotes. But guys, if I'm honest, if I'm really, really honest, ooh, and I get emotional, I don't want to be like the YouTuber that just comes on here and like cries all the time, but it moves me to tears to think about it. It really does. Like, I was honestly like hating myself. I hated a lot of myself because I wasn't radically, like, I wasn't living in radical self-acceptance. I was actually quite, I'm gonna turn on this light. Getting a little dark in here. Okay. I wasn't living in radical self-acceptance. I was living in quite a lie, in fact. I was really hiding and really playing small and really, really thinking that I was not worthy of the highest good, and that the behavior that was happening in my marriage and the ways that our patterns were acceptable, and they weren't. And so those of you that are listening that are maybe in a very toxic relationship, or maybe it could be a friendship, that happens so frequently. It could be even with your family. I'm so glad that this is blessing you guys. This is a live video, so I see comments coming through, but I really like to do stream of conscious too. So thank you. I do see your comments coming through, and I love you guys. But take a look at some of the relationships that you're around. And radical self-acceptance also requires you to take radical action. And I'm learning that more and more. And so to really, really take that action requires risk. And without taking great risks, you're not going to see reward, and you're not going to see more growth. And so there's like a mentor that actually was a mentor of Corey and I that had a really beautiful way of saying that. So that has really stuck with me. And ironically enough, right, it was through that relationship that I learned from some of his mentors as well. But we were both living a lie, you know. We were both had such great mentors and such great people that were speaking into our lives, but it became this very toxic, cyclical thing, and that's very common. So the gentleness comes in and going, okay, I'm not alone. Other people have experienced this too, but the radical action from that requires stepping away. And you guys, look at how long it took me. It took so long. It took so long, which then what does that say? There was major codependency there. Major codependency. So I've got a lot to look at. And so that's what I've been doing. So over the last several months, it's been a lot to look at, and a lot of peeling back the layers and going, okay, interesting. So I believed this, and I believed this, and I was allowing this. Now, what can I create for future partnership so that I don't show up that way? What can I take a look at? And so these are things that I've allowed people to speak into my life. And the kinds of ways that we speak to each other is, you have my permission to call me out when I'm telling myself a story that's not true. So ask yourself, do you have friends in your life that you allow to speak into you at that capacity? Do you give them permission to say, hey, sister, or hey, brother, or hey, you know, like, that's like, I call my friends sisters, you know. I started this new thing too where I'm saying Miss Stars. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, I have a little women's group that I started called the Sacred Soul Sisterhood, and sister is spelled Sistar. And so I started calling my Mr. friends Miss Stars, because we're all starseed children. We all came down. We're all made of star stuff, the same stuff that stars are made of. So are you. So are you. So know that you are this bright, beautiful light that's just being ready to share with the world. And there's times of, you know, there's seasons where maybe you're not going to share at the capacity that you once were, or maybe it looks different, or there's, you know, I'm obviously talking about myself. Like, you know, it's humbling to go from like stages to now just be like, okay, so should I get like what should I do exactly? So, because I'll just, again, like, just to give more context, to be transparent, what I'm being challenged by the most in this season is just to remember my value. So after being in such a verbally and then like I shared transparently, but at the end, a very physically abusive relationship, I have to really, really, really remember who I am and tell myself that, and like I have to actually like sometimes go back and like look through my photos and be like, oh, that's right, like I was speaking at this and I was teaching for this, and I was like, there was, you know, oh, I just did a campaign for Ulta, and you guys, I was in such a daze the last several years that I was not even fully present for a lot of what was happening, or at least now when I look back, I'm challenged to remember, you know, all of the beautiful experiences, because there was a lot of unhealed, you know, there was a lot of unhealed wounds. Well, there was just wounding happening often, but then also just toxic venom being spewed back and forth. And so I have to remind myself. I literally am like, this is live, babe. She's like, is this live? It is live. I'm having to remind myself of all of the beautiful qualities that I have to share. And so if that takes leaning into your tribe, yesterday, I'm going to be super honest with you guys, I had a really bad, and I'm not going to say that, see, abracadabra. So you guys are watching me transmute this in real time. Abracadabra is we create as we speak. So I'm going to magically transform this. I had a very challenging day yesterday. The full moon in Aquarius, which is my sign. It was a challenging day, and I was crying on and off all day. And I had my sisters there that were able to like really speak into me. I had two friends that really, really stood for me and really took some time to speak life into me. That is saving my life. That's saving my life in many ways. So I really encourage all of you guys, be really, really careful who you're surrounding yourself with. If they are not lighting you up, we can't afford it, you guys. We can't afford you to not believe the very best about yourself. Just like we can't afford me to believe that, right? So like wherever you are, just take certain steps to really surround yourself with people that are only going to bring out the very best, because we can't afford it, my loves. The world needs us to rise. We really need to rise. So wherever that looks like for you, that you find commonality with people, find those true friends, allow them to speak into you, give them permission to see things maybe that you aren't seeing. And if you guys can learn to take feedback, you know, that's really, really important. Feedback is not always easy to hear, you know, but that's what self-mastery is. If you're able to really, there's henna, I forgot that I had henna on there. I was like, what's on my hand? But if you're really allowing yourself to be open to feedback, that's where self-mastery really begins. So anyways, that's my 2 cents about radical self-acceptance. So if you are watching this video after it has been live, then I love you, and I hope that you have a really, really magical day. Find the magic in every day. Seek it out. Look for it in angel numbers. Look those up if you don't know what that is. Look for your spirit animal totems. There's so many ways to really ground in and keep yourself present, and that's why all of those little signs and wonders exist, to keep us right here in this space, knowing exactly who we are, and not forget that. So thank you for tuning in. And for those of you that are live, I would love to chat with you and do some Q&A for a little bit. So what are you guys up to? What is everyone learning the most? Dragonflies. You've been attracting dragonflies. That's incredible. I love that. Did you guys see my last vlog? I need to edit the other one. Let me see. How do I get the comments back? Here we go. Okay, let me see some of these. Hello, Mary Jane, Janelle, Artsy Tingles. We've got Christina, Jane, Aliana, Lisa, how are you guys? You guys are my co-hosts tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Bless you, sisters. It's so nice to share space and learn from one another. Oh, you guys have no idea. Like, this is why I'm here, to connect at this level. It's such a gift. It really is such a gift. So thank you. Let me see. The beauty of life is that you don't have to pick now. You'll find your way with God and spiritual guides, etc. Yes, I love that. It's so true. We're always in process. We are simultaneously works in progress and masterpieces all at the same time. That's one of my favorite quotes. It's right by my bed. Finding a Higher Love by Elizabeth Clare. I think you would love, and it would resonate with your vibes. Thank you for the recommendation, sister. I appreciate that. Finding a Higher Love. Will you DM that to me on Instagram? I would love to do that, or to read that. So at Lynette, DM me the name of that book so I have it there. That would be great. Oh, Christina, she says, I love you and Mia together. So glad you guys met. You two are inspiring. Girl, you need to actually see, we have worked through and transmuted and alchemized some of the most intense stuff. We are up leveling in ways, like we cried last night on the floor here at my house. She's gone. She just flew back to Palm Springs this morning, she flew to a conference in Austin, but I drove her to Palm Springs this morning. But we literally sat on the ground crying yesterday in my room, and we're like, I think we're sisters in our past life, and that's why this has been such intense, like, connection, but also triggering. Like, we literally argue like sisters, and we just met. Nothing like a road trip to, like, just push you into, like, a really close friendship, but now I'm just like, what we're creating together, like, you guys don't even know. Like, of course, because we haven't really told you, but we are working on merch. We have magical line of t-shirts coming out. You guys are gonna freak out. They're so awesome. They're all eco-friendly. So what do you guys think about that? Send some, like, hearts and love if that's something that you guys are excited about, because I know we're so excited. And we are also working on some digital courses together. We're working on, we have our website, but it's not designed yet. But we are the Modern Magicians, and we are bringing magic to the modern day world. So yeah, very exciting. Thank you guys for all the love. I'm seeing all you guys' comments. Let me see. Oh, Mary Jane says, you're speaking to my soul. Thank you, sister. I'm so glad. How do you find expanders? Having a hard time. Expanders? What are expanders, my love? I guess I don't know what you're referring to. And then Grace asks, hi, Grace. I didn't say your name earlier. And hi, Ash. And I see Girly MZK, which you were the one about the dragonflies. Grace asks, can you speak about loneliness when you currently don't have a lot of people within your circle that you feel safe with emotionally? So you're saying that you don't, because I do have a lot of safe people in my circle, which is a blessing. So, but you're asking what to do when you don't. Well, that I've been in those seasons too. This is a new season where I've worked really hard to create a tribe around me, and that is to behold, and I'm so grateful for. But let me speak into you a little bit if you're feeling a sense of loneliness and you don't feel surrounded by a lot of light workers. I think that that's all by design for you. So if that's what you're finding, then clearly that is a season for you to really ground in and learn radical self-reliance. So the title of this video is Radical Self-Acceptance, but maybe you are in a season of radical self-reliance, which is different, because maybe you're being called to really be in a cocoon phase. and to spend more time reading and to spend more time with yourself and to really give yourself time and create some self-care practices and really learn to be on your own. I know that that's something that I'm still learning, so I'm still in that process. While I do have all these light worker friends around, to be honest, the greatest challenge for me is to not spend all my time with them. Because look at, here I am by myself on this evening, and what am I doing? I'm here because I'm such a social butterfly. I love to just interact. I crave it. Oh, I crave it. It like brings me so much joy to just connect. And so if I'm not talking to you guys, chances are I don't love talking on the phone, but although I did talk to my mom for a while today, but I do find myself really filling space, while I know that I do find solace in like having these times by myself. My tendency is to kind of just fill space. So I'm giving you and I the same advice together, my love. And actually one of my friends just told me yesterday too. She was like, I think you need to spend more time alone, Lynette. And I was like, but. So if I look at patterns and I was really, really codependent, then what is the opposite that I need to do? Radical self-reliance. So guys, I have news. I'm going to Burning Man next Saturday. That's crazy. Talk about radical self-reliance. I'm going to learn about radical self-reliance there, baby. Woo! And they say everything that's for me is on the playa. So that's going to be big for me. But again, going back to your question, I just really encourage you, babe, to get some good books, ground in, start creating new patterns and new, maybe find a new hobby, and just really learn to love being with yourself. You know, take a bath and like decorate it with candles and rose petals. I did that, you know, a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago. And it's just like really nice to just spend time and enjoy being by yourself. So maybe that's what you're being called to do. So I encourage you to just embrace it, but don't also become a lone wolf. Continue to put out the vibration that you want light workers around you, and they will show up. They will show up. If that's your intention, you are very powerful, my love. They will show up. So you putting out that good energy and you showing up for yourself in that way, people are going to only reflect that back to you, you know? So while I'm going through a tough season, I will say the thing that has been just keeping me going and keeping me so lit up inside is understanding and seeing the fruits of me being the light. Like, even though like I was in a tumultuous situation, I'm finding that all of the people that are surrounding me are so extraordinary that I feel like, whoa, how am I here with these people? These people are so amazing, and they're only a reflection of me. So if I find them to be so extraordinary, what does that say about me? You know? So if you're finding yourself in a circle of friends that you find less than extraordinary, it's going back to what I was saying earlier. Make some changes, babes. Okay, I'll answer a few more, and then I'm going to make myself some dinner. I'm going to do some reading, and then I'm going to take a bath. Speaking of self-love. Okay, yeah, so Isabella meant expanders, to her meant like-minded individuals who help you grow to, and I kind of just answered that, so that's perfect. And then Lisa asks, where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, in the desert, where I am again now. Not in Tucson, but I'm in the desert again because I love it. You can take the kid out of the desert, but not the desert out of the kid. I have a saguaro tattoo right here. Can you see it? Oop. Yeah, I have a cactus tattoo, all that to say. So that is where I grew up, and I'm going back there and I'm doing a workshop. Actually, if you are in the Arizona area, I do want to shamelessly self-promote. I have a very, very exciting announcement. I am doing a social media masterclass in Arizona, in Tucson specifically, on September 24th and 25th. It is in the evenings on both days, so it's a split up masterclass in the evenings so that people that are working can come in after they get off. And it's from 5 to 9 p.m. on both days. And it's going to be magical, to say the least. I have created a workbook that you're going to walk away with, and also I'm doing one-on-one coaching calls. So like included in the package price, you're going to get a one-on-one consulting coaching call with yours truly. And then that to the 2-day course. So also it was suggested to me that because it's in Arizona, not everyone's going to be able to go. So I am opening it up to, if you would like to attend digitally, I am up, the price for the masterclass is right now with early bird pricing, it's $1,200, which is a buy-in because it is very valuable. I've worked for some of the top companies in the world, and I've learned some tips and tricks along the way that have taken my career to where it is. And so I've created this workbook that's kind of just like jam-packed with valuable information on how to take you from a social media novice to a social media magician like myself. And so I would really love if you guys are interested in buying the digital version, because we're going to be filming it. If that's something that you're interested in, I am doing half price. So half price for the digital course, you get all the video files and all of the information, and then the workbook can be digitally emailed to you, and still the one-on-one coaching call. So if you guys are interested in that, you can email me at Lynette, info@lynettesnay.com, or DM me on Instagram. I have the course list on Facebook, so I'm like, I'm not really friends with you guys on Facebook, but this is going to be a really exciting course, and I am very, very excited to be doing more master classes and stuff like that. So help me help you by, signing up for the class. The live class, the in-person class, I'm actually keeping it very intimate, so I'm only allowing 11 spots. But the digital one, of course, is available to those of you that are interested in that. So definitely let me know. And yeah. Okay, so can you share some of the morning rituals you do? Well, I shared that a little bit earlier. I've already been on here for 37 minutes. So I'm going to just answer this one, and then I'm going to jump off here. But yeah, so some of the morning rituals. Every day, like I said, I wake up, I do my gratitude practice. Sometimes I forget, I'm human, but I really do try. And I like to spend at least 30 minutes just kind of like laying in bed, and I have my little prayer time. So, sometimes it's easy to just like kind of reach for the phone, and I'm very guilty of that, especially in this season when I'm now sleeping by myself in my own room. I definitely tend to like reach for the phone, but still, nonetheless, I like to give myself around 30 minutes in bed, just like spending time like giving gratitude and praying. And so that's one thing that I do. And then I come out here, I light my Palo Santo and my sage, and I smudge my house and cleanse it. And then I always put on either like I put on like certain hertz, like music with hertz in it, like 432, or there's like all these different hertz of music. You guys can look that up on here on YouTube. Just to like start the day, and those are just like tones, and it can be like tones to cleanse and like heal your spirit, or they'll have different ones, so you can pick whichever one you want. So I really like to start with that, or I put on I like to have like spiritual chanting music on now. That's really awesome, and like abundance chants. I love that. And then I have been giving myself every day, I've been giving myself 20 minutes to an hour to meditate. So Mia is really keeping me honest. With her, we are doing hour-long meditations. Today I just did 20 minutes, and in 20 minutes I was actually weeping. So there's just so many downloads that come through when you just let your mind just be clear. So on my I need to see if it's, I believe on my YouTube channel here, I have a playlist of meditations that I listen to. So make sure to check out my playlists. I do have those on here. So I'm pretty sure it's a public playlist. I will double check after I get off here. But yeah, I love guided meditations because my mind tends to like go. So I do like to stay here. And then yeah, I like to do like a little bit of Kundalini, some ego eradicator. If you guys don't know what Kundalini is, you can also look that up on YouTube and have a guided Kundalini session. And then yeah, some like stretching and not all of those happen every day. I mean, like I said, I'm not claiming that I do this every single day. Before Peru, I was doing that every day. Every single day I was doing Kundalini meditation every day, but I kind of got out of my practice a little bit, so I'm trying to like really kick that back into gear, but that's what I do. So I saw that Heidi popped through here. I love you so much. Oh my gosh, I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. I don't know if you're still on here, but I saw you pop on. It's so nice to see you, and I would love to catch up, my love. I'm going to jump off of here. It has been 40 minutes of me sharing, and I love doing this. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this is very valuable for you guys. Continue to affirm one another. Words of affirmation, I think, are a love language that has been lost. So not only do we not like speak words of affirmation over our own vessels, or we tend to forget to do that, it's easy to forget to do that to other people too. So look in someone's eyes, like I'm looking into yours right now, at least into this little camera lens, and just speak life. I love you guys. I think you are absolutely powerful and wonderful human beings that are choosing to come back at this time in history. You chose to be born on the day that you did, to come back from the cosmos, to land right here, right now, at this very time in history and herstory, to create whatever your dreams are. So believe that, know that, receive that, let it sink in, know that you're in exactly the right place at the right time, and just to continue to manifest, and abracadabra your way. Abracadabra, baby. It means I create as I speak. So speak your reality into existence. Fake it till you make it, baby. I'm in a tough season, but I'm going, hey, I am a magician. I am this. And I'm like speaking all these things. And then today, lo and behold, I got a whole crew of magicians that reached out that want to potentially have me be accepted into their little, like, now you see me group. I'm just making it up as I go because I said I'm a magician. I put that on YouTube, on Instagram. I listed myself as a magician, and I do a few tricks. Obviously, my parents are magicians, but you gotta magician your way through this life, baby. You gotta make magic. Magic is something that you make. So you gotta show up for yourself, choose radical self-love and radical self-acceptance. It is the only way. That is all I have for tonight. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bless you, and have a good night. I hate goodbyes. See, I never want to get off. I'm like, I just love this, but I'm gonna go for real. Love you. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It was still going. I love you. For real though. I'm leaving. I clicked something and it went to WhatsApp. Okay. I really gotta go.